Sometimes in life we get to a stage where we go, you know what, I've had enough now, that's it. I don't care about all of the rationalisations I've made before. I don't care about all of the thought I've put into this. We've just reached a point now where it's just getting beyond a joke. Now I'm going to show you a little clip here from GB News related to the Afghan interpreter and, that whole thing, the 24,000 people that are coming here, or was it 16,000 that have already arrived in secret? And what about the £7 billion that the government had earmarked, but that was secret? So I don't know how the government can have secret money, and they've got billions squirreled away for something like this. But not to worry, they've only spent 900 million of that money so far. So just thinking of all this lack of trust, this whole how we view the government is really getting out of hand now, and the migration issue is going to explode. And as if all of this was not enough to already annoy the British public, now we're confronted with the information that it could actually be up to 100,000 people. And guess what? Because the data of these people has been breached by this one Royal Marine who sent an email out to people, because they've had their information data compromised, they can now sue the British government for up to £250,000 each. Yep, you heard that number correctly. £250,000 is the figure being floated here. And these people haven't even arrived yet, and the lawyers are queuing up to sue the British government for bringing these people into our country.
Thanks for saving us. Now we'll sue you. This is the story, Sebastian, of the Afghans who are now in the UK, but who are teaming up with two legal firms to potentially sue the government, taxpayers, for £1 billion for losing their data. That's not very grateful of them, is it?
Well, I think the main thing is these Afghans are safe. That's great. What I'm not too pleased about is these lawyers coming in very quickly. We don't know a lot of the details. All of a sudden trying to put a case together. We don't even know what they're suing for. So it's very, very early to be coming in on all of this. But the important thing, as I say, is that those who were in danger, those who served our country, have been dealt with appropriately, have been brought over here or sent to safety elsewhere. I can see why this was kept secret for so long, but that's where we are.
Why do you think it was kept secret for so long?
Well, because their lives were at risk.
You really believe that's the reason they kept it secret?
I think so. If you're on a Taliban hit list and you're in danger of your life and you've served a country, it's the duty of that country to make sure that you are sent to safety, whether that is in your own country, in Pakistan or in Britain, as it may be. We have a duty, and both governments of both colours acted on that duty.
OK, well, I would take huge issue with that. I think, first of all, we're hearing that 100,000 are going to be brought in. 16,000 have been smuggled in secret already. Not sure why they were smuggled in secret if you think it was for their own good, because once they're here, they're safe. But they weren't. And that injunction was taken out by the Tories originally. But Labour had it in place much longer than the Tories did. So I don't believe for a second it was about. I believe it was to hide their own incompetence.
Just on that number, then.
Well, no, let me
100,000?
finish. 100,000 they're saying could be coming. That's the people that are on the hit list. 16,000 are already here.
7,000.
They're saying
significantly lower.
Sorry?
The figure I'm seeing is 7,000.
Well, that's not the figure I'm saying. I don't know why you're saying that, but if you read all the papers today, that's not the figure. The figures are that 16,000 are already here, and there should be 23,900 inspected in total, but maybe even more than that. Now, the figures in Compo that have been put out for that is £1 billion. That doesn't take into account housing them, taking care of them, and all the rest of it. And as Seb says, these lawyers are like vultures. They're straight in. And the estimates are that each person who sues will get up to 250 grand each. Why would they get that when they've been brought here? They've been given a new life. They will be taken care of in terms of benefits and all the rest. And then they're going to sue the country that's giving them this new life for billions of pounds. And the people that are going to pay for that are British taxpayers who were kept in the dark about this situation.
Well, hang on, let's not conflate the two. If you've got £250,000 in your pocket, you don't qualify for benefits anymore. So it's one or the other.
Well, how don't you?
Well, because if you have £16,000 or more in savings, you don't qualify for universal credit.
Mm-hmm. OK, but there are other benefits. How will they get a house? They'll be given housing, no doubt. They'll be given access to healthcare.
Well, not
They'll
if
be
they've got
given access to
£250,000 in their pocket.
education. They'll be given access to all the things I just said.
We can buy a house with that.
Well, you
You've got
can if you live in the middle of
£500,000
nowhere, but you can't if you're going to be in London. And you still
saying they're
get...
coming to
You're
London?
ignoring the other things I've said. Healthcare, education.
Well, of course.
All of
Those
that
are
is going to cost money.
state-provided services.
All of that is going
And
to
these are
cost
people
money.
whose lives that we have put at risk. It is on us to give them that.
And there you quoted at the end there. It's on the British taxpayer to pay for an unknown amount of people who come from Afghanistan, who, at the end of the day, seem to disproportionately be in the figures for violent and sexual crime in the UK, massively disproportionate. And so we're now going to be taking an unknown number, possibly somewhere in the region of 16, 24, 50, and additional family members. Nobody seems to know what the figure is anymore. And now, as it transpires, it looks like there could be 100,000 people. And of course, this is following on the footsteps of the 200,000 plus Gazans, which are going to be hitting France any day soon. And now, to compound this, we're being told that these people have had a data breach of their own personalised data, and we put their lives at risk. So even though we've brought them to a safe country to completely solve that problem, and in addition paid £40,000 each, up to and above, for every person that comes here in year one, for up to 100,000 people, potentially. And even if it's just the 24,000, think on that, 40 grand per person for year one, during which there's an employment crisis in this country and a housing crisis. So we've got both of those points there, in addition to the fact that we're now going to be sued, the British people, and the lawyers are going to make sure, these lawyers that are destroying Britain from the inside, now it transpires that £250,000 each is the figure being bandied around. When you add insult to injury, and when you start poking people in the eye and kicking them a bit harder, these politicians here, they better get a hold of this, because the British public are reaching boiling point with this issue. Not forgetting about the trust in our politicians and the fact that they can appear to just squirrel away £7 billion in secret, but of course we'll tell you later. And it's not about the Tories or Labour, they're all in it, they both covered it up. But £250,000 each for these people who we're helping, bringing them from a war-torn country, in addition to the 40 grand in year one. And, no employment. How many years are these people going to be living at the expense of the British taxpayer, in addition to the fact that these people are going to sue us for this data breach? Thanks very much for your time.